want to thank everybody for tuning into a special edition, Steelers Pre-Snap. I'm your host, Luther Dupree, joined as always by the Hall of Famer, Claudio Rosano, the wannabe Hall of Famer, Smokin Jim Frazier. A legend in the making. Guys, we got to talk about the Dallas game. Smokin Jim, you left out before you could give your prediction. What were your thoughts on that before we jump into our other topics, Jim?
I think I was pretty clear on it. I just felt like the Dallas Cowboys was going to win because of Dak Prescott. I just thought that, it was a difficult offense. I thought Dak would pass for 500 yards and 4 or 5 touchdowns, and the Steelers did a good job of holding to 352 yards and 2 touchdowns. But I just felt that Dallas was going to put up a number of points on the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they wasn't going to be able to match that.
Yeah, well, he did also have 3 turnovers, Jim. 2 interceptions, a fumble, could have had another fumble. I got that wrong. I thought we could pull it out, but once again, the defense didn't hold them down. More injuries on the defense. We're down to our 4th and 5th outside linebacker. TJ Watt, fortunately is still healthy, but Alex Smith out. Herbig is out. Leal is out for the year with a neck injury. So we're down to practice squad players, Jim. But I was wrong. I'll take the L on that one. Claudia, your thoughts?
I had Dallas winning the game. I said Dowdell would be the surprise player of the game, and he had a great game. Was it the Steeler defense that was so good, or the overrated Dak Prescott was so bad? I mean, he was missing people and making some crazy plays. But at the end of the day, Dallas won the game. I think Steelers are just overrated. I think the coaching staff's overrated. I think it's and I know we haven't done the huddle up and the prophetic thoughts yet and all that, but I just don't think, narrowing it down to the Steelers, they don't have the right team to win. And if I can go into the huddle up, I'll go into that, segue to that if you'd like.
Oh, go ahead.
The old real estate axiom is the 3 most important things in real estate are good location, good location, good location. I changed that, and I used to say 3 most important things in sports, in business, and life is good people, good people, good people. But I've changed that to the 3 most important things in sports, business, and life are the right people, the right people, the right people. Steelers don't have the right people to win, okay? Mike Singletary, who I loved as a player and I loved even more as a coach, in San Francisco, would have done just as well by keeping him instead of who they Shanahan and all that group, in my opinion. Mike had a tight end. Jim, you remember his name. I always forget his name. Singletary was mad at him, okay? And he kicked him out.
Vernon Davis.
Right, Vernon Davis. Kicked him out of the game. Well, really, he kicked him off the field. Davis sat on the bench. Singletary took his headset off and went over to him, and he pointed, and he followed him into the tunnel, and he kicked him off. And then in press conference, his famous line was, can't win with a guy like that. Can't win with him. Can't do it. Can't do it. Vernon Davis, to this day, will say that moment changed his life for the better. What did he do with Pickens? He invited him over for Thanksgiving. What's he going to do this year? Invite him over for Christmas? You have to bench George Pickens. He's got a ton of talent, but you can't win with a guy like that. There's several guys in the team you can't win with. The coach has to be a disciplinarian. I'm a player's coach. There's no doubt I'm a player's coach. But at the same time, I'll be damned if I'm going to let a player half-ass it or disrespect me or disrespect the team. I'm going to do something about it. And if I look back on the players that I've gotten mad at the most, they were my best players, not the 3rd-string punter to make a point. Tomlin has this. I said this last year. It's still early. He has to start busting stuff, start benching people, start laying the law down. His thing was what? The standard is the standard. Well, it's not a good standard. He has to show discipline. I don't know what he does behind the scenes, but whatever it is, it's not working. Okay, he's got to settle these guys down. Say, look, we have a shot to do something special. You're getting paid zillions of dollars. You're in the NFL, and then he's got to get mad. He's got to show these guys and tell them, hey, this is what it is. If you don't like it, get out. Belichick used to bring free agent running backs through practice and tight ends and wide receivers, so their players would see, hey, wait a minute, they may replace me. Forget about contracts, forget about everything. The game, the team is most important. So that's my huddle up. You got to show some discipline. You got to tell these guys who the boss is. You know, he just has to. He can turn this thing around, but he's going to have to turn it around. And a guy like Mike Singletary, who again was an absolute crime that he's not coaching in the NFL. And Jim, real quick, and Luther, what was the guy Billick from the Ravens? He never got an opportunity. He should have got an opportunity too. But that's another. I'm sorry for being so long.
Oh, no problem. No problem. Hey, we got Sean. What's up, Sean? Must win for the Pittsburgh Steelers today at the Las Vegas Raiders. I agree. Terry, what's going on, Terry? The Steelers aren't playing to win. They're playing not to lose. Omar Khan has let us down. We definitely need another receiver. Agreed. The standard is Tomlin is overrated, according to Lee. All right. Smokin Jim, what you got for us?
Well, I agree with a lot of what Claudio said, but to, take another stance on it differently. In my draft report, everybody knows I'm NFL scout. In my scouting report before the draft, I said George Pickens is clearly the most talented receiver in this particular draft, but he could never play for me. and everybody in Pittsburgh now is surprised that he's acting out. I mean, this is who he is. This is who he's always going to be. But the guy's a freak of nature. I don't think that this is a must win, like Sean said. I believe that it's too early in the season. 3-3 is not. Listen, once we start cooking with Russ, and it's just a difference when you're a new offensive coordinator on a new team in a new system and new personnel, when you can have a quarterback that can check out and audibilize. We would never had to use that last time out if you know what I mean. When you got a guy like Russell Wilson that's seen it all, has done it all. This guy knows what the defense is doing and what they're getting ready to do. He can anticipate. He can check out. Nothing against Fields. Fields is the future. I said he'll be the quarterback in 2025. But watch the difference in this offense. It's really going to be a super offense to watch when Russell Wilson gets in there behind center.
Oh, okay. All right, Jim. All right, that's Smokin Jim. Let's go back to the comments real quick. Jason Thomas is saying salute. What's up? What's up, Jason? Terry, George Pickens just wants to win. He knows he's the best player out there. Why are they not utilizing more? They need to get the ball to him early and often. Lee, of course, agrees with Jim Frazier. All right. Listen, my prophetic thoughts. Man, I was watching the game yesterday at the Colorado game. Colorado versus Kansas State. And the game changed once, of course, Travis Hunter got injured. You can't continue to play this man 126 plays a game. You just can't do it. He didn't make it through the whole season last year. He's not going to do it this year. He missed most of that game. If he plays, I believe they win that game. They were right in it. In fact, they scored a game, I thought was going to be a game-winning touchdown with 2 minutes left. But the defense came and gave up 2 big plays, and they were back on the field. Dealing with all kind of injuries. Travis Hunter, like I said, can't play him 126 plays. He's playing full-time receiver and full-time cornerback. Unacceptable. They have enough wide receiver weapons where he should just focus on defense and put them in for a couple plays here and there on offense. Jimmy Horn went down. Amarion Miller, who I think is not used enough, went down. But you got to stop playing these guys. Got to stop playing Travis Hunter so many plays. He's not going to make it through. You need him for specific plays, but he shouldn't be a full-time both ways. This is not high school. Guys can't do that anymore. I wish he changed that concept. The game, they probably win if Travis Hunter doesn't get hurt in the second quarter. So you got to stop doing that. And I think if he does that, the season will be much better. Stop playing Travis Hunters both ways. All right.
Hey, Luther, why not? It's only 60 minutes. Guys did it all the time back in the day.
This is not back in the time. This is not back in the time. Why? How come people aren't doing it now, Jim?
Hey, listen, is it Deion's fault that Travis Hunter ain't visited a weight room since high school? Lou, come on, man. Yeah, put a little weight. You want to go both ways? Get in the weight room instead of having that beautiful fiance that's getting ready to take all your money that's opening their mouth in social media. Hey, look here. I think he don't play enough.
All right, Jim. That's insane, Tom.
He'd be returning punts and kickoffs and going down on kickoffs. It's 60 minutes, Lou. It's 60 minutes.
Why? Yeah, Jim, that sounds good, but reality is different, Jim. Nobody else is doing that. Nobody else is doing it for a reason, Jim.
That used to do it back in the day. In my first 2 years of college, I played both ways, offense and defense.
Jim, we're not talking about the 30s.
Listen, the difference is those guys, it was harder back in the day because you didn't have 9,000 commercials to rest. You didn't have the red flag to rest.
Jim.
He got all kind of time to rest, Lou. It ain't like when Frank Gipper and them guys used to do it. And Jim Thorpe, they had to actually play 60 minutes. Now it's like he got plenty of time to rest, Lou. No, that's on him if he keeps getting hurt. That's on him, man. He wants to do it. I would continue to do it. You want to win a Heisman? This is the way that you win the Heisman.
He's dynamic enough where he doesn't have to play full-time receiver.
No, he's
he
not.
can play.
No,
yes, he is. Where he can make big plays.
He's average.
Those catches in the end zone he made were not average.
He's average.
All right. Nobody can. I've seen him make plays that hardly any other receiver can make. Jim.
Is his size average? Is his speed average?
No, he's one of the fastest. He's one of his fastest players. One of the greatest hands as a receiver.
He's mid 4.4. He's mid 4.4, Lou.
That's good speed.
He ain't no,
his hands, his jumping, his jumping ability, his hand, his athleticism is outrageous. Well, why are people looking at him as the number one receiver, the number one player pick?
Does he play basketball for Colorado?
He could. Have you seen his highlights, Jim? You haven't watched him enough. He could play for Colorado, and he could be a starting point guard, Jim. You haven't watched him. I'll send you some highlights because you didn't do your research. He can play basketball as well. He's an elite athlete, Jim. I'll send it to you, and I'll run it on the show next week, man. But we're trying to get out of here before you got to run into the casino, Jim. You're going to disappear. Anyway, let's get back to this. Let's jump right into this. All right, let's look at Steelers over as Raiders D. Claudia, what you got for us?
Couple things. Jim did make some very good points about the Reds.
No, he didn't.
And I'm talking about with TJ Watt. He should be playing more than he does, but that's another story. Let me ask you both a question. Who's the Steeler offensive MVP right now?
Dan Moore.
Not open door Moore. No, he's not. Nobody on the offensive line is the MVP at this point, Jim. Stop. Nobody.
It's just field. Although Dan Moore, I got to give him credit. He's consistent. So Jim's right there. Look, here's what you have to do, in my opinion.
Bad or average. That's what he's consistent. He's not great. Nobody's going to bust the bank to sign this guy, Claudio.
He said Russell Wilson's going to get some playing time. No. Here's what I'm telling you. Justin Fields has been the MVP offensively, and he's going to be the future. And he's also the right quarterback for this offensive line. Russell Wilson will not have time. He can check off all he wants. He's going to get bum rushed. He does not have I like to see him. I always liked Russell Wilson. And is he a better quarterback? Probably, but not for this offense. You need a guy who's going to be able to get out of the pocket, run, and add another dynamic to the offense. And Russell Wilson just isn't going to do that. He's going to get strictly passing yards, well, Justin Fields can get passing yards and maneuver and run. God knows how many sacks he's avoided with his legs where Russell Wilson can't. Okay. So what I do, and now is a desperate time for the Dolphins, maybe a few other teams, trade Russell Wilson now for the future.
They don't want who's calling for Russell Wilson now? The man can't get off. He can't get off the injury report until 7 weeks.
And then you want him to start for the Steelers?
Jim does. I'm not sure he can make it through. He couldn't make it through training camp.
What they need for today, I'm still not giving up on Harris. Okay. You have to get him more. If the running game isn't working, then you got to get him the ball out of the backfield. You have to. Now, I think I'll say the magic number again. They need 150 yards plus from the running game. Fields, Harris, the substitute teacher from Harvard, I don't know if I put him in, but they need 150 yards total. And again, they have to continue to spread the ball. And I don't mean just one reception for Mount Washington. Give him 5 or 6 or 7. Put him in the game more. Excuse me. And as far as Pickens is concerned, they should have never drafted him because, like Jim said, I'll say it every week. Clint Hurdle says you are who your baseball card says you are. He was trouble in college. Why do you think everybody passed up on him? And then when you say, well, we have to get him the ball early to make him happy, he still ain't going to be happy. He's going to want the ball 50 times a game. Then you say, oh, man, he's a competitor. No, he's just a pain. But use other receivers. Give everybody 5, 6 targets. Use the damn receivers. Use what you have. Raiders don't have a great offense. This is a great opportunity for them to spread the ball, score some points. But they need 150 yards rushing, spread the ball.
Who has the advantage, Claudio? Who has the advantage, Claudio? Steelers offense, defense. Steelers offense or defense? I mean, sorry, Steelers offense versus the Raiders defense.
It's offense.
All right, Smokin Jim.
Claudio makes some great points. I mean, it is true. Justin Fields hasn't done anything to justify being benched. So I agree. I agree with Claudio.
You just said Russell should be in there immediately, Jim. You're all over the place.
In my opinion and my feelings about Russell, but how can you bench Justin Fields the way he's been playing? So I got to agree with Claudio. But I give the advantage to Oakland's the Raiders defense because of Crosby and he's. I tell you what, man, that boy is. He don't take plays off. He don't go get water. He don't take his helmet off. He don't lick his tongue out.
Who'd you say?
Crosby.
Yeah,
I give their defense because of Crosby.
Crosby. Okay. All right. Jason Thomas disagrees with you. He says Harris is trash, Claudio. All right. Frank Jackson, Russ is washed. He sucks right now. Lee, of course, is on the side with Jim. Play Russ and get the rust off. All right. Fields needs a quarterback coach. Lee's on it today. If the Steelers lose, fire Tomlin. All right, Jim. Lee, you say the same thing every week. Frank Jackson, Art Smith is a horrible offensive coordinator. He's not looking good. And Atlanta, the Falcons organization, didn't like him too much either. And the fans hated his play calling. So, it's looking more the same. No innovation whatsoever. Last game, you watched Dallas's offense and you watched Steelers' offense. You would have thought you were watching 2 different decades. Dallas did things to put their playmakers in position to win. I don't know what Tomlin and Art Smith were doing. They had Pickens on the bench. He has all kind of wild stuff written on his eye black, profanity and everything else. So I'm going to go. I'm still going to go Steelers offense against the Raiders defense. I'm not really sold. Max Crosby's going to be a problem. He's going to absolutely destroy Dan Moore, Open Door Moore, and Broderick Jones. He's going to be a problem. Good thing Justin Fields is going to be able to run. So, we'll see what happens. But I give the advantage to the Steelers offense against that Raiders defense. I think they gave up on their coach a couple weeks ago. And if the Steelers can jump on them early, they may give up again. All right. Smokin Jim, before you dip out of here, Steelers D versus the Raiders offense. Your thoughts?
I give the advantage to the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. They're the highest paid defense in all of football and the most underachieving defense in the history of football. But I give the advantage there, especially with the Raiders unsettled at the quarterback position and the wide receivers faking the injury.
Wide receivers faking injury, Jim?
Yeah.
All right. Claudio, your thoughts on
Terry French.
D.
Terry, real quick. Great line. Step it up, Arthur Smith. Step it up, Art Smith. Okay. Pittsburgh D. How well did they do against Dallas? Sometimes I really believe that people, when they talk Steeler defense, they're thinking about Joe Green, Jack Lambert. These guys are all right. They're the highest paid defense in the NFL. They're not great. Okay. Now, last week against Dallas, you give Steeler defense more credit or Dallas offense for being a little Prescott for being a little crazy with some of his attempts. Okay. I'm going to give the Steeler defense the the advantage on paper. Okay, but this kid O'Connell, he just might do some crazy things. The Steelers have been hurt before by an average quarterback, and the Raiders have three backs basically: Zamir Alexander, Matson, and Zamir Alexander, Matson, and Amir Abdullah. I'm going to say Abdullah is going to have a big run today. Okay. And I think the running game is going to be half decent for the Raiders. And if they're half decent, that means all the pressure isn't on O'Connell. And that's going to be bad. Steelers defense is going to have to put pressure, stop the run, put pressure on O'Connell. Then they got the game wrapped up. Can they do it? I'm not totally sure, but I am going to give the Steeler defense the advantage. But again, I never ride the fence. I never say, we'll wait and see. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to give the Steeler advantage, but barely.
Okay, I'm going to go with Steelers D. I think we're playing against a young quarterback, Aiden O'Connell. He didn't beat out Gardner Minshew in training camp or in the preseason. He played better than Gardner Minshew, last week, but I think he's going to struggle. I think we can put some pressure on him. DJ Turner is one of his top playmakers. Not really impressed with their running backs, Zamir White either. So I'm going to give the advantage to the Steelers D. It's about time they make some plays. They're the highest paid defense in the league. They shouldn't be blowing all these leads like they are. You just need one play. 4th down, 3rd and 15 teams are making easy. Guys are wide open. They have some young guys in there. Beanie Bishop really got exploited last week. They have to find a way to get him back on pace. Minka made a statement. He was in the papers. He said they think they need to change up the defense. Some of the young guys are missing communication issues. So I think we'll see more man-to-man and some of these zone concepts may be switched out a little bit until some of the veterans get back, till Cam Sutton gets back off of suspension. I agree with Minka. They need to make some changes because too many blown coverages, especially in key moments. When it's a 4th down or it's a 3rd and 15, things that you think the defense would win, they're not winning. So, Smokin Jim, before you get out of here, who has the advantage? And then we'll go to predictions.
I think I already gave my advantage to the
Raiders, though.
No, the Steeler defense.
Steeler D. Okay. All right. Coaching advantage, Smokin Jim, and then give your game prediction.
Well, we know Antonio Pierce has no business being a head coach in
why doesn't he?
Football League.
Why doesn't he?
Again, I said that when he got hired as an interim head coach, he shouldn't have been an interim head coach.
Why?
They love him. Listen, this guy was reckless off the field as a player. He was with Plexico Burrs when Plexico himself in the foot in the nightclub. This guy got a shady past. He could never run for office as a politician. They come up.
Why Trump can? He can.
So again, I give the advantage clearly to Mike Tomlin and his staff.
All right, yeah, I give the advantage to Mike Tomlin. I think Antonio Pierce, he has to get his team back. It seems like some guys are quitting on him already. Devontae Adams has requested a trade. Trade hasn't happened yet. People were saying the Steelers are going to make an offer, but they didn't want to do it before they played them this week. We'll see. The Jets with them. Aaron Rodgers is running the Jets now, so he may try to pull the trigger and make the trade happen. But I give the clear advantage to Mike Tomlin. Antonio Pierce is struggling right now. When a team is quitting, guys want to get traded, you're in bad shape. You don't have a quarterback, so that's a leadership position. When they named Gardner Minshew the starting quarterback, I knew he was in trouble. They didn't draft the quarterback. They went and got Brock Bowers, who I think is going to give the Steelers some problems this week. He had 97 yards, powerful, strong tight end out of Georgia. Let's see if Patrick Queen can earn his money and slow this guy down. I do think Brock Bowers is going to have a good game against us, though. So, Tomlin has the advantage. Claudio?
You obviously have to give it to the Steelers coaching staff, but not because the Steelers coaching staff is that much better. That's just not a good staff for the Raiders. But here's a source of mine says that next year Aaron Rodgers will be the Steelers GM and Cons.
All right. Hey, all right, let's see. All right, Jason Thomas in here. Jim hates black coaches. Lee says Tomlin, aka Art Shell. Come on, man. Tomlin's a swell. All right, Lee, man, I'm gonna say, just stop, Lee. You on some wild stuff. Lee McGinnis is always in here getting on Tomlin, man. You and Jim hate Tomlin. Hey, real quick, game prediction. Let's start off with Claudio. Claudio, what's your prediction?
Raiders 19, Pittsburgh 17.
Ooh, wow. 3 losses in a row is what Claudio's saying. All right, Smokin Jim.
Well, I'm surprised you and your, Pittsburgh Raiders is not abandoning your wives again to go to Vegas for the game. I'm shocked, Lou. I'm shocked.
Stop.
Heck, coming back from LA, but I would say Pittsburgh 42, the Raiders 28. I think Brock Bowers is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Not for Queen. The tight end is the safety's responsibility, not the linebacker's responsibility.
It depends on the defense. He's closing off the middle.
No, every defense.
No, not every defense. Not every defense. Why did the Steelers keep trying to replace? Why did the Steelers keep trying to replace Ryan Shazier? Tight ends were killing the middle of the field, Jim. Am I not right? They've been killing the middle of the field for years since Ryan Shazier had his injury, and they've been trying to replace him.
Well, Troy Polamalu was there covering the tight end.
You're going 100 years ago, Jim. Stop, Jim. Stop.
Ryan Shazier is the back out of the backfield for the linebacker,
and he also can cover a tight end.
That's what he did. That's what the white media will tell you. Ryan Shazier covered the backs out of the backfield.
There you go. I saw him covering tight ends, and he's made some.
He dropped in zone if the tight end came into
close the middle. Close the middle off, Jim. You're proving my point.
If he drops in
Jim.
Zone, but if the running back stays in and he drops in zone, and the tight
it all depends on the defense, Jim. It all depends on the defense.
Always the safety.
Not always. It's not always the safety.
Always,
no.
Always. Name me one linebacker you ever seen 50 yards down the field with a tight end, case closed.
I've seen Ray Lewis. I've seen Ryan Shazier. Kirkland, they would cover tight ends. They cover the middle of the field, Jim. Jim, we're not, listen, but Jim, let's get this in, Jim. You prove my point. You prove my point.
Name me, you have not named
I named 3. Lee says Raiders 23, Steelers 24. What was your score, Jim? You created a crazy score again.
42-28.
All right, they're going to score 6 touchdowns. Come on, Jim. You got the money on the over, huh? All right, Frank Jackson, stop hating on black coaches. Lee, Boz is NFL MVP. Boz is definitely the MVP of the Steelers right now. Terry French.
You know what?
30-14, Raiders, Terry French. What'd you say?
You know what? Lee's right about Boswell being the Steeler offensive MVP. Yeah, fault.
All right, Jim is going. And Lee says Kirkland covers tight ends. Yeah, that's what I was saying. LaVon Kirkland, he's one of the ones I named. Jim, get out of here with that foolishness you're talking, man. Jim's ordered early. I'm going to say 20-17 Steelers. Eke out another one. I think that's what's going to happen in this one. Another low-scoring game. The Steelers refuse to open it up. And a lot of people are saying that Russ Wilson might get some action. No, I think I think Justin Fields is going to, have a good showing. I think Pickens is going to get the ball. Hopefully he had a good attitude, a good practice this week, and he's not half running routes and complaining and grabbing face masks on the other team. It's time for him to step up and stop all that crying. Claudio, they got to get I'm glad Jaylen Warren is back. We'll see an improvement in the running game. Harris has been a disappointment this year. Warren is going to be a key factor in this game. I think he's going to have about 50 yards and some action out of the backfield as well. I think that's what we've been missing. Najee, just full-time Najee has not been working. I'm glad Warren's back. The running game will be improved because of it. All right, let me jump back in here. Boss, 65-yard field goal. Okay. All right. Hey, Claudia, any last thoughts before we get out of here? We're going to do sit or start real quick. real quick, would you start Justin Fields
Okay,
this week?
Yeah, you start him.
You say start Justin Fields. Okay. All right. I say start him too. I think he can have a bounce back game against the Raiders. You know, the defense isn't that great. I think he'll be able to get away from Max Crosby enough to make enough plays. Real quick, let's go with Najee. Do you start him or sit him? I'm sitting him because Warren's back. Pardon me?
Well, yeah, that's a good point. But I'm still going to start him because maybe Warren will light a little fire under him.
That's true. He does run harder because when he runs his 2-yard and nothing else, and Warren comes in and runs for 10 yards, it usually looks like he hits the hold a lot faster when he comes back in. You're right. But I'm sitting him. George Pickens, I say start him. I'm starting him in one of my leagues. I think he's going to have a bounce back game. I think they're going to force the ball to him early and often. And I think he finally scores for the first time all year. And they don't take it away with the penalty. Claudio?
Sit him. Can't win with him. Can't do it. Can't do it.
All right. All right. Any last thoughts before we get out of here? All right. Lee's on it. Sit Sierra.
I made a mistake. Lee corrected me. Boswell is the MVP offensively, but right behind him is Justin Fields. You don't bench Justin Fields. He's the right quarterback for this team right now.
Okay. Hey, well, Jim disappeared. He had to jump into the casino, church, or wherever he's going. Claudio, you're right. Hey, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. All the comments. Lee was on it today. Terry, Jason, Frank, all you guys, man. We'll check you out next time. Lee got one more. All right, Lee, I'm done with you. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Have a great game. We'll check you out next time. Peace.